Hey fellas, and welcome back to With a Y. I assume a lot of you tuned in to the Game Awards a few nights ago, or if you didn't, then you saw a bunch of clips of it circulating online, because there's always like a few moments that like break through, and tons of discourse that follows. And I've personally been watching the Game Awards pretty much as a yearly tradition for the last 7 or 8 years, and generally speaking, no matter how good the show is, I generally have a good time. There's an argument to be made that the Game Awards is not as broad or as pure of a celebration of games as it could be, but I feel like as a pure thing of entertainment, I get my fix out of it, especially with the loss of E3. It has this kind of dual focus of being the main big game announcement platform and also being the place that you give awards out to all the games people consider the best in the year. Last year, it got apparently a new record of 154 million viewers across all of its live streams, which I think puts it well above any like traditional Academy Award show, which is kind of funny because I think like among those award shows, it has like maybe the least amount of respect. So I wanted to start off with just like announcements of games I was really excited for, so let's knock those out real quick. Immediately, Fate of the Old Republic. We barely saw anything about it, but being directed by Casey Hudson, the guy who did the original 2 KOTOR games and the Mass Effect trilogy, I'm pretty fucking stoked about it, especially because of that KOTOR remake at Saber Interactive getting kind of shit-canned or at least stuck in development hell. Who knows if we'll ever see more about it. But the overwhelming joy I felt when I heard this lightsaber ping, then Star Wars Fate comes on screen, then the Of the Old Republic fade comes in next. Like, it was like playing with your emotions. It's like, yeah, I know you like Star Wars. Now, how about this Of the Old Republic subtitle? Yeah, you're creaming your pants right now. I know you are, you little fuck. And then the Casey Hudson name drop, like, so hyped for me. And this was like how the show started. And I think that made a lot of people think that we were going to have an absolute banger of a night, and I'll say, thoroughly enjoyed it. I felt like, as far as presentation went, there were significantly less annoying, like, weird ads. One of the Game Awards' strongest suits, as far as, like, it goes for people paying for ad spots, is that of new game announcements transition pretty seamlessly into the paid-for ads for stuff that probably already exists. And there's a big money threshold that comes with a lot of publishers probably hoping you won't be able to tell which is which. I'll say last year's Game Awards was, like, maybe one of my favorites, and this probably falls closer to the middle of the road for me. I haven't talked about it much here, but I'm an unreasonably big fan of the first Control game. I think a lot of people at large are just fans of what Remedy does, because they tend to switch up their formula a lot. They don't really get too comfortable. Like, you could have probably done like a direct follow-up to Control that used the same gameplay style, just tightened up. Instead, they announced Control Resonant, which is like, it takes you into Manhattan and has you doing like hack and slash stuff. And while we don't see much gameplay here, the visual presentation is just on fucking point, which is what I love Remedy for, and I cannot tell you how excited I am for this game. I think the biggest letdown of the night was Jeff Keighley's last announcement. His One More Thing of a game was kind of a dud, not in that, like, I'm not excited for it in some way. This is Highgard. It's by a lot of the same guys who did Apex Legends and Titanfall, which is a stacked roster, and then the gameplay that they showed just doesn't feel as weighty or in line with that repertoire of talent you're assuming comes with it. Like, it's a first-person shooter with these guys on horseback in a medieval setting. I guess those aren't really horses. Like, the art style seems like a lot of things I've seen in recent years, which isn't like an immediate turnoff, and one thing that does give me some hope is A, the dev team is one that I'm immediately interested and open-minded to giving this a shot for, and the fact that Jeff Keighley was like, you can play it in 7 weeks, just fucking find out for yourself, which I probably will. I don't know that I'll be crazy about it. I'm just keeping an open mind for now. It's just as the one more thing, like, you had people thinking we were gonna get Half-Life 3, like, there was tons of rumors and leaks ahead of time that it was like, no, for sure, the Game Awards, after all the other dates that had apparently been leaked, came to pass and nothing got announced. And I think it kind of set this game up for failure, because I think it could have found like its niche, and I think it could have found a more appropriate level of reaction if it was like more in the middle, but it also did have that lead-in of like, yeah, made by a bunch of the same guys from Titanfall. That said, I'll give it a shot when it's out, but the main thing that a lot of people have been talking about recently is not the namesake of the Game Awards, but the ever-evolving Muppets lore between Jeff Keighley and Miss Piggy, specifically for some reason. Like, this clip is fucking incredible to me.
Oh, you know I would never turn down an invitation from you.
Jeffy Pooh.
After Bora Bora. Which, by the way, was certainly not a bore. A Bora.
Piggy, come on. This is a public event.
Oh, someone's being shy. Why?
Like, oh my god, dude, she was feeling him up, like, on the main stage in front of, like, a few million people at least. Just thinking about the numbers that, like, happened last year, I'd say at least, even if they don't end up hitting those numbers again, like, some crazy shit had to have been happening. I just love, like, the immediate shit that came out right after. Part of the fun of the Game Awards is A, watching it with friends, and B, just the live tweets. Before, like, you had enough time to sit with everything that happened in the awards and people are just having raw reactions, there's just funny shit like this. Jeff made love to Miss Piggy. Jeff, get your side piece under control. People really in denial of, like, this blossoming power couple that we're seeing in front of us. From legit gaming leaks, I can exclusively confirm that there is nothing going on between Jeff Keighley and Miss Piggy. Nothing at all. Don't even bother thinking about it. I don't know why, but just this alt angle from the nosebleeds of the Game Awards of just this same scene unfolding, but from behind, is funny as shit to me.
I never turned down an invitation from you, not after Bora Bora.
Now, I think Miss Piggy deserves to, like, chase some ass if she wants to. I just think it's really funny having to be the guy who puppeteers this. As far as creator-based stuff, you know, shout out Critical for winning Creator of the Year award. I feel like just with how ubiquitous that guy is, like, he was gonna win it one of these years. Though I did see his reaction and he's like, it should have been anybody else.
Please God, anybody but me.
And the burnt peanuts. And the Game Award goes to Voice Critical. Congratulations.
Just shaking his head, dude. It was also fun to, like, see some creators like Maximilian Dude and Sphere Hunter Susie and, like, some of the trailers in between. Speaking of commercials that I just didn't expect to fucking sneak up on me the way they did, there was a goddamn Battlefield Friends ad inclusion here, man. Just got ass blasted by a random wave of nostalgia with the art style remaining intact. Like, I love that shit. Other announcements included the Street Fighter movie, which looks surprisingly unashamed of being a Street Fighter movie, where, like, the casting, like, Cody Rhodes' Guile is incredibly good. The less said about their onstage appearance, the better, or in the fact they weren't there to do the presentation for Best Fighting Game. That said, there's also this discussion of not every year is stacked enough to, like, justify, like, a really big presentation for Fighting Game Award. And there's also the discussion, if there isn't enough games in one category, like, to make it competitive, like half the entries for Best Fighting Game this year were re-releases or compilations, does it need to exist? I guess, like, for continuity's sake, you might want to make sure that every award appears every year and you only make a big deal out of it when it's stacked. Listen, I'm not going to pretend to know how to put these things together. I see what, like, these presenters who actively attach their faces as, like, the poster boy of whatever award show they're running, like how much they get their shit ran. Like, we're at the point where a lot of people just call these the Keyleys every year. Completely unrelated bits that made me laugh were Jeff Keighley spotted off stage at the Game Awards reading the Quran on his phone. I'm hearing that Jeff Keighley received the light of Islam and unhesitatingly recited the Shahada during a cut segment of the Game Awards. Now, I've been avoiding, like, the main discourse of the night, which is the fact that Expedition 33 had a sweep in just about every single category it got included in. Like, there was some controversy over the Hollow Knight Silksong devs not going across the world to attend the Game Awards. This could be for any number of reasons, a big one being that it's literally traveling to the other side of the world for an award they are not sure they're gonna win. And I think if that is the reason, perfectly fair. The devs from Team Cherry made, I think, what was a pretty reasonable statement a week before the show. They got asked if they would be attending the Game Awards. They said, maybe not, we're pretty busy. And when asked on if they would win, they said, I think we're safe this year. Calling Claire Obscure an exceptional game that was broadly palatable, where they're on the knife's edge, where it appeals to some and infuriates others. I think that's a perfectly, like, reasonable summation of their game and, like, how these things tend to get rated. I think Silksong is a broadly impressive piece of art. One that, in my few hours while recording a video for it, I enjoyed, but also realized, like, I still gotta finish Hollow Knight 1. Like, I think I should do that before I even consider, like, truly approaching this game and trying to get to the end of it. And I don't think Expedition 33 is by any means an unworthy pick for Game of the Year, or even any of the genres that it was in. There's the argument that, is it really indie? But I feel like the term indie and independent has always been kind of loose when we're talking with games and stuff, and the story of how Expedition 33 got made is, for what it is, an underdog story. When people say it was a game made for under $10 million, like, that can still sound like a lot of money, because objectively it is. But, like, when we're looking at, like, the usual things that get into, like, Game of the Year contenders, we're talking the 9-figure budgets and shit. This is the clip that Jeff had, though, like, in response to the comment that Team Cherry made, and I don't think he meant anything like this as a slight. I think it was more just an off-the-cuff joke where he was, like, just trying to be funny, because he's a presenter.
And the Game Award goes to Hollow Knight Silksong. See, you guys won. All right.
Like, you had some people thinking he was just like fucking on King Von time, and it was just like, fucking never cross me again, bitch. Never fuck with me again. I'm not trying to like be too much of a Keighley dick sucker, because I have criticisms of the Game Awards every year, but they're a lot of the times the same criticisms every year, and I generally enjoy the production he's able to put on, despite the shortcomings of like the amount of time that devs are given to like have speeches about their game. I don't know if there's like, it felt like people were more able to get off their entire spiel without getting cut off, like they were able to complete a thought before being asked to get off the stage instead of a big screen that says, please wrap it up. Like, seriously, what the fuck was that? Like, seriously, even to this day, that shit still makes me like laugh because of how absurd it feels. But I also don't know how much of that is like devs choosing to go in with like a more measured and smaller speech time because the expectation has been set in prior years. But Expedition 33, I think, won in a record-breaking amount of awards and was nominated in the most categories that any game had ever been in a Game Awards show prior. I haven't completed the game myself, but I did enjoy the few hours I spent with it, and I feel like the Game Awards do often act as like a catalyst for me to like finally give a game that I've heard good things about but never really dipped my toes into a genuine shot. So maybe you'll be seeing gameplay of that in the coming weeks or months. But of the things that didn't happen and that were true disappointments to a lot of people, the biggest one was Half-Life 3. Like, Vinny Vinesauce pulled off this elite troll when he was doing his stream of the Game Awards.
Okay, here's another world premiere only for you here at the Game Awards.
No way. No, just kidding. It's this.
That is fucking evil, dude. Like, that's mean. That crushed so many people's spirits. Like, I know so many Half-Life fans who are gonna be on suicide watch if they went in with too high of expectations and were watching his stream as their way of consuming the Game Awards. The Half-Life subreddit was fucking incredible in the wake of the Game Awards. Gotcha game, Blizzard game, Amazon ad, Google ad, Jeff trolling us, some game that runs on iPhone, some game that runs on Nintendo Game Boy SP. The show ends and everyone goes home. And however you guys' opinions on the show itself or like what games got announced, there are two main takeaways that I think you should have. A lot of people are talking about, oh, capitalism and the state of the gaming industry. Jeff Keighley and Miss Piggy are canonically fucking. They are having vicious sex. Like, who the fuck cares about the rest after that shit, dude? And the second, arguably more important takeaway you should have from the Game Awards is that Sonic fans are the most oppressed minority on Earth. And low-key, we fucking deserve it. Don't stop that discrimination. Sega was hyping up that they had a big announcement at the Game Awards, or not literally a big announcement, but just to keep an eye on, and it seems like what the announcement was that Warhammer 40k game, which I think for a decently large group of people, like, that is something worth getting that level of hype over. I'll probably check it out. I'm not even a big Warhammer 40k guy, but there's like a banger of a game every now and then from that series. That said, Sonic Cross Worlds lost to Mario Kart World. I don't even like kart racers that much. I just have an agenda to push, dude. It's just like the day before, this guy predicted pretty much exactly how it was gonna go. Okay, there's no fucking way he's getting this. And the winner of Best Sports/Racing Game, yep, Sonic is not getting this shit. Is there anyone else who's eligible? What the hell, man? The winner is Garfield. I wasn't any nominated, but sure. Anyways, I generally enjoyed myself. I think I will continue to every year, like in and out. It's just a tradition I do with friends, which is, for me, that's more of what it's about. Even if there's only like 2 or 3 games that I'm really into, those moments are usually like enough to carry me through the rest of December and into the new year, so I'll take what I can get. I hope you guys were able to get something out of it, even if it like wasn't the greatest showing that the show has ever had. Let me know what y'all thought of the Game Awards in the comments. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at @withAY. That email is in the description if you guys want to send me any video topics. Anyways, piss off with love.